Okay, so on this question, we've got a simple function machine where you have something, we call it an input, some operations happen. So in the example, we've got something gets put in, call it n, add 4 to it, then times 3, and that can be written as that's something plus 4 all times 3, so it's 3 brackets n plus 4. So what we've got to do is we've got to repeat the same process with the two examples A and B, and they're given 2 marks for each of these, which is quite generous. So let's have a look. We've got something, let's call it n, and then we times it by 2. How do we write that? Well, we got something, we times it by 2, we call it 2n, and then we take 5. Okay, so what we should actually be looking at doing then in our output is putting that in 2n minus 5, and that will get you 2 marks, which, as I said, is pretty generous. All right, let's have a look. Second one then. Looks like it's a bit harder, but more like the example. We've got something n, and we add 1 to it. Okay, so what's that look like so far? N plus 1. Okay, and then we divide by 4. Do you see that? We've got n, we add 1, n plus 1, and then we divide what we've got so far divided by 4. Okay, so let's move away from the old divide by signs, bit primary school, and what we do is we go divide by 4. We write it like that. So your answer in your output box, if we rewrite that, is n plus 1 divided by 4. Okay, and 2 generous marks for that, guys. Okay, so 4 marks in your GCSE. You should be laughing if you see a question like that. Okay, question 3 is a fraction question, and it looks a little bit tricky when you first read it. What do we get? It says, on one day, 7/8 of the workers at an office arrive on time. 1/10 arrive late. The rest of the workers are absent. What have we got to work out? Calculate the fraction of workers who are absent. Give your answer as a fraction in its simplest form. So there are 3 marks available for this. What I'd do is I'd work out, if I've got to work out how many are absent, well, let's work out a fraction together of those who arrive on time and those who arrive late. So we're going to add those fractions together. So we get 7/8 plus 1/10. Okay. Now, when we're adding fractions, we know that the denominators, the bottom numbers, have to be the same. Okay, so we're going to rewrite the sum as a fraction plus another fraction, but these bottom numbers need to be the same. The way we do that is we look at these 2 bottom numbers and we say, what's the smallest number that's in both of those times tables? Okay, so you can spend a bit of time thinking about that, but most of us will eventually get to the point that we realise that 40 is in both of those. Okay, so this sum here has to be equivalent to this sum here. So what I do to 8 to get to 40, I must do to 10. Well, let me just scrap that. What I do to 8 to get to 40, I must do to 7 to get to 40. So I times 8 by 5, I must times 7 by 5, which gives me 35. Okay, so 7/8 is equivalent to 35 over 40. I times that by 5, I times that by 5. Okay, what do I times 10 by to get to 40? I times it by 4. What must I do to the top? Also times it by 4. So we get 4 over 40. When we add fractions, the bottom number stays the same. 35 plus 4 is 39. Okay, so the fraction of workers that arrive on time and late added together is 39 over 40. So what have we got of one whole left? Okay, well that is 1 take away 39 over 40. Okay, so that is 1/40 that's left. Okay, so we're looking at 3 marks for that question. essentially you're going to get 1 mark for this part, 1 mark for this part here, and a mark for the correct answer written in your box. So I'll just write that answer in the box there to get my 3 marks.